protest in as many days. This is happening now in 4 centers in Calgary, Edmonton, Lethbridge, and Red Deer. I'm hoping that it will continue to grow. The only way we are going to protect Albertans is for this number to get bigger every single day. Steve Bentley, are you here? He's my counter. Maybe in about 10 minutes I can get somebody counting. Anyways, my name's Dr. Joe Vipon. I'm an emergency room physician here in Calgary and the founder of co-founder of Mass for Canada. And I've been working on COVID policy since the beginning. I was one of the first people in Canada to advocate for masking. I've been pushing for the recognition of airborne transmission amongst our medical public health officers. I've been pushing for restrictions at the beginning of the second and the third wave. I've been reporting numbers to Albertans on Twitter to interpret the numbers that we're getting. Now that interpretation is basically going to be like useless because I can't rely on the numbers anymore thanks to the new policies going in forward. We are going into dark times. These dark times, I've never even heard at any time in Canadian history where a jurisdiction has decided to put its entire population at risk from a deadly disease that can also cause long-term disability. I don't know what to say. Like I feel unsafe. I have other people reaching out to me saying they feel unsafe. I'm a parent of a 13 and a 15-year-old. Thank God they're double vaxxed, but I recognize the anxiety that goes amongst every single parent of somebody under the age of 12. Under the age of 12 that doesn't even have that ability. I recognize that the mortality among those under the age of 12 is much, much less than those over the age of, than the elderly population, but we still know that there's significant morbidity, that long-term disability, 8 to 13% amongst children. And we also know that even if there's a very, very, very small risk of hospitalization, when you have a very, very large number of people infected, that is still a significant amount of disease. And we're seeing right now in the United States, in places that are 2-3 weeks ahead of us, their pediatric ICUs, their pediatric hospitals are filled and they don't have room. Then what do we do? So this is an extremely dangerous policy that the end result is twofold. We're not going to be able to monitor our numbers because we're basically discontinuing any kind of monitoring programs. We're not going to have any idea of what's happening on the ground. And number two, we're going to really infect anybody who's susceptible. And that's anybody who's non-vaccinated, including those that are under 12 that cannot be vaccinated. I don't know if that is the explicit purpose of this, but it's the end result. And if it's not the explicit purpose of this government to do those two things, to hide the numbers and infect everybody who hasn't been vaccinated, then they need to rethink this policy because there's no way that that's not going to happen. It's just common sense. My feeling is this government does not listen to experts. It does not listen to doctors, except for maybe one. But they're the government of Albertans. We are Albertans. We have the power to reverse this. And the only way we're going to be able to do this is to do this every single day with increasing numbers until they recognize that this is not the policy that Albertans endorse. And that they're taking away our legal right. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms of Canada states, Article 7, everyone has the right to life, liberty, and security of the person and the right not to be deprived thereof. They are depriving me of my right to your right, Article 7 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I call on the Attorney General of Canada to reach out to our Premier and say that you are not allowed to violate the charter rights of 4.5 million Albertans. You know why we're going to win? Well, there's that, but there's something more powerful. They've mama bared the province. Don't get between a mama grizzly and her kids. I call on all mothers around the province. I call on all teachers around the province to step up and make sure this never happens. I had a teacher reach out to me this morning saying, I can't believe that I entered a profession that is threatening my life, that is threatening my family. She's gonna quit. Is she one out of all of the teachers in Alberta? I don't know. I don't know. Do teachers want to say like what they're thinking about in 4 weeks going back to school?
Our kids deserve better.
We all deserve better. We all deserve better. But especially our kids who've done nothing except to be too young to be vaccinated. This is not a choice that they've made. This is not they don't believe in conspiracies that say COVID isn't real. This is just the fault of being too young in a province that doesn't care about it. Oh my God. This is the oh my God moment of Alberta politics.
I got the red guy in the red bandana to put a mouth on in front of you, Joe.
Guy in the red bandana.
To the left, put a mouth on, behind the white coat.
Oh yeah. Can somebody please ask that guy to put on a mask? If anybody can provide him one, that would be great. You're not welcome here. You're not welcome here unless you have a mask on, sir. This is a safe place. Can you please leave? You can protest over there if you don't want to be a part of it. Well, can you please leave? Because we're not feeling safe around you.
I think he simply
You got a
needs
couple
one.
questions
He
before
just
you got
needs
to
one.
do
If
your-
anybody has an extra.
Okay, I got 5 minutes. Let's go.
What is your message to the rest of the country who is looking at Alberta right now and blames them for putting restrictions in place against people from Alberta traveling to other parts of the country?
What is my message for the rest of Canada looking at Alberta when they would put in restrictions? Well, first of all, I would say that if Albertans are unsafe, everybody's unsafe, because this is a federation of citizens, and we are Canadians and deserving of the rights of the Charter Rights and Freedoms. So if they can take our rights away here, what's to take away any other jurisdiction from doing so? So this is really a test case in safety. So I would ask them to step up. As far as travel restrictions, I can't speak for other provinces, but I wouldn't want, especially when we get deep into the fourth wave with the Delta variant and possibly new variants, I would not want Albertans to be in their province, and I would not be traveling here. They can make their own choice.
I know that the message is focused on spreading the fear. But what about to the majority of Albertans that have done what they need to do, who wear masks out in public still, who have got double vaccinated? What's the call to action there?
Okay, so what's my call to action to those people who have done the same thing and gotten double vax and are still wearing masks? COVID is airborne. It's airborne transmitted. That means you have to put in airborne mitigation techniques in place. It's actually not that hard to do. Socialize outside. Wear a mask as best fitting as possible. The best ones being the KN95s, the N95s. Or a really tight fitting surgical mask, or double masking, or those mask brace that really pull the mask up against your face. If you have to be indoors, make sure that it's well ventilated. That can be as simple as opening windows and doors. It can be as complicated as doing an HVAC assessment to make sure there's at least 6 air changes per hour in that facility. If the air changes per hour is inadequate, you need to put in filtration systems, and there's some pretty cheap ways of building a home-based filtration system just with some HEPA filters and a fan. You can find those online. So that's pretty complicated and long, but that's my simple answer. And then the third thing is you're not entirely safe, right? Because we know that there's breakthrough infections. I don't think we have any idea what the level of breakthrough infections among double vaccinated for more than 2 weeks, how that is going to be in a situation where there's massive community spread. which is what we're looking at.
And finally, a message to Dr. Hinshaw, who delivered this easing of restrictions. What do you want to see her do specifically?
I would say that it's quite evident now that public health is not actually putting in policies to protect the health of the public. I think this is a travesty, and I think she should resign. I and pretty much every other doctor I know went into medicine for the explicit purpose of helping people. I can't believe we have somebody who went into the practice of medicine for the specific purpose of protecting community health, the health of entire populations, and is putting that entire population at risk. I don't know what to say, people. That's like crazy. I'm gonna check this